Welcome back to Elevated Inspiration for Sunday School. Hey, it's great having you all back. We're looking at another lesson. We're still in the love series, and this lesson is serving love. You know, we're going to be looking at John. John is unique. He is actually had a close relationship with Jesus. Actually, he is the author of 4 books. This one that we're going to be studying today, which is St. John. But he's also the author of 1 John, 2 John, and 3 John, all books named after him. And he's also the author of Revelation. Now, the Gospel of John is a little bit different from the other 3 Gospels, Luke, Mark, and Matthew. They are called the synoptic gospels because they all look from a same perspective. But John flips the switch. His gospel is different. He looks at it from a different perspective. We're going to see today because we're going to look at the Last Supper, and John exposes us to 2 elements, and one we're going to look at that the other 3 gospels kind of leave out. That is foot washing. Or maybe I should say feet washing, because it's more than one. All right, so we're going to look at the first verse here. Notice we're at the Feast of the Passover. Jesus knew that his hour was to come and that he should depart out of the world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world. He loved them unto the end. That's John. Notice how John put a little spin on it, that Jesus loved his own. Talking about him, even on one occasion towards the end, John states that he loved him more than the other disciples. But notice he says he loved them even unto the end. And then the betrayal. The supper ended, the devil having put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him. Now, John throws that in, that the devil put in his heart, whereas Matthew says that Judas betrayed him for money. So John put a different spin on it. So we see, of course, we know that money is the root of all evil, and possibility, money and Satan is going together here. I want to spend some time on this verse right here, because if you notice this verse, actually it says that in this verse, John gives us 3 insights into the mind of Jesus. Notice it says, Jesus, knowing that the Father has given him all things into his hand. So first, Jesus is fully aware of his power and authority. Number 2, Jesus was aware of his origin, that is from God. It says, and that he was come from God. And then 3rd, Jesus was aware that he will return to the Father. When all things were accomplished, he was ready and prepared for what laid ahead. So he knew what was getting ready to happen. He even knew that Judas was getting ready to betray him. So he had all of this knowledge, but notice what he does. He rises up. He lay his garment aside. He takes a towel, and he began to wash the disciples' feet. And then we spend a section here looking at Simon Peter, who said, hold up, Lord, you've washed everybody's feet, but you're not going to wash mine. So if you actually think there's 12 disciples, he actually washed Judas' feet too, who was getting ready to betray him. So if it took him 2 minutes to wash each feet, we're looking at a 20-minute episode. So, but yet he's their Lord, he's their master, and he's doing something sort of humiliating as this. And when he gets to Peter, Peter said, hold up, you're not going to do it for me. And if you notice, I underlined verse 8, because Jesus answered him and said, if I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. In other words, if you don't accept this, you're not going to get your blessing. And notice what Peter says, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. And if you notice here, Jesus said, he gives a teaching moment. He that is washed needeth not except to wash his feet, because you're already clean. So what I'm doing here is not giving you another ordinance that you have to do. I'm trying to really teach you a lesson. I'm trying to show you something. I'm trying to show you serving. So if you look at verse 12, so after he had washed their feet and he had taken his garment, he sat down again. He said unto them, know ye what I have done to you? You call me master and Lord, and you say, well, so far I am your master and your Lord. But notice, I have washed your feet, and you also ought to wash one another's feet. Now, let's just talk about washing feet for a few minutes. In that day and time, they were bare feet or they wore sandals. They did not have pavement. It was dusty. This was a tradition when you walk into a person's house, you had to actually clean your feet. They usually gave this job to a lowly servant. I mean, it had to be a filthy job, because when you come in, they usually have a basin of water and you kind of wash down because it's dusty, it's dirty. And for you to stoop down to wash somebody's feet was really awful. Really was a dirty job. And Jesus is telling them, for I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you. And then we skip all the way down to the 34th verse and 35. And he tells them, a new commandment I give unto you. And this new commandment is not feet washing, but a new commandment is that you love one another. As I have loved you, that you also love one another. And by this shall all men know that you are my disciples, if you have love one to another. Notice I show you John, he definitely flips a switch. He talks about love and demonstrate how Jesus demonstrated love to each of the disciples. And he reminds us that we need to have love one for another. So I ask you this question here. If you look at two different texts, Luke 7:44 and 1 Timothy 5:9-10, what would be some modern equivalency to foot washing practice of the first century AD? Now we're going to discuss this on Sunday, so at 6 o'clock. So this will give you an opportunity to read those two scriptures, and come up with a great answer so we can discuss it. And then we're going to dig a little bit deeper. What would have to happen for you to begin demonstrating love to others in one such way? All right, so wrap everything up. It's a matter of heart. Washing your feet or your hands will not clean your heart. Jesus does not seek people with hard, dirty spirits who have immaculated personal hygiene. He wants those with clean hands and a pure heart. You cannot be known by your love if you do not show your love in service. Show your love in service. Hey, our thought to remember is show your love. We have a Zoom session Sunday at 6 p.m. And I already have shared with you the question that we're going to be looking at, comparing Luke 7:44 and 1 Timothy 5:9-10. So hey, don't forget this thought. Show your love. Hey, thank you. I enjoyed it. See you in Sunday school.